Good morning, everyone. It is about 9:20 in the morning on Saturday, and I wanted to do a bit of a weekend reading vlog. I was going to start this last night, but I was really tired. And I dozed off at about like 9 o'clock or so, and then woke up at 11 while I was in the living room, and so then I just decided to go to bed. This weekend, I don't really have any plans per se, but typically what I do on my weekends is I do a lot of the stuff that I don't normally do during the week, because usually I get home like about 4:30, 4:45, and I'm usually pretty tired, and so I don't really have like the mental energy to do a lot of the stuff I normally want to do. I've also been in kind of like a mental health slump really for the last several weeks, which has really taken a toll on my enjoyment of things, and so I usually use my weekends to do the things I wouldn't really enjoy doing. But I've also been in a bit of a reading slump because this past month I have DNF'd 6 or 7 of the arcs that I wanted to read, and they've all been because they haven't kept my interest for more than 10% of the books, and so I don't want to spend time on them if I'm not gonna, if I'm not finding any enjoyment out of them, which kind of sucks. Kind of goes along with the theme for this month, where I've just felt like crap and everything else has been kind of falling down around me, it feels like. This morning, what I would like to do is I'm gonna want to get a couple things done before I actually start reading today. I want to do some of my research for Buddhism, because I always read a section on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I always, each of those days, read a section from this and highlight it with notes. I also want to update my bullet journal, which is not going to take very long. I would like to work on a few chapters of my Mara novel, which I'm really excited about because I actually did edits for the first time last weekend, and I just didn't have time last weekend to actually work on it. So I probably won't even actually get to reading anything until like this afternoon. The book I am working on today is Wilder Girls by Rory Power. This is a young adult thriller, I would say. I wouldn't necessarily call it horror at this moment. It hasn't really given me those really like gruesome vibes that I would continuously think of with horror, but it definitely is a thriller. This came out in like July, and I have the E-ARC for it because I have had no time to read any of my arcs as of late. It's been really hard for me to get through any of them. But this one follows 2 girls, Hetty and Bayat, who are both students at this school that is in like on this island off the coast of Maine. And when they get there at about 13 years old, there is this sickness that spreads that they call the tox, and everyone on the island is contaminated and they end up getting sick. Girls end up dropping like flies. One of the girls' fathers, who works on the island, also had gone missing at the very beginning of the tox. I think I've really just gotten to the main plot of the story. I think the first third of the book was built understanding kind of the workings of this world and what's going on, but I think the main plot now is that one of the girls has had a flare-up where essentially as time goes on, each of the girls that's already been contaminated will have these flare-ups where the sickness will just overtake their entire bodies, and either they'll die or they'll have some kind of mutation that comes with the flare-up. And so one of the girls, Bayat, ends up getting having a really bad flare-up and is taken away, and Hetty, who is her best friend, understands that that's not normal and finds out that Bayat might be getting sent off somewhere and she doesn't know where, and so it's kind of her job to go and try to save her. One bisexual character and one gay character. I don't know that for sure. That's what it seems like. It seems like one of the characters is bisexual, because I believe that there was a point where they said that they've dated girls and they dated boys or something like that, or they like girls and they like boys. And the other one, I think, is either gay or bisexual. It's not really clear at this point, but there is some notion of the fact that she does like girls. For some reason, it kind of has like these Maze Runner vibes to it. I don't know why, but I guess the writing style of the story and the kind of ominous feeling I get from the island itself is that it reminds me a lot of when I read The Maze Runner. It's really good. Like, I really like it. I love the kind of, I don't want to say sarcastic writing, but some of the dialogue is really, it really works, I think, for these girls. And I do like the fact that there's also some bi and possibly gay representation, because it's really awesome to see that stuff continue to really become implemented within young adult literature specifically, and just literature in general. And then also I am working through the audiobook of A Dance with Dragons by George R.R. Martin. I'm kind of using the audiobook really just to get through the main story because I find that the audiobook is a little bit more enjoyable. When I actually sit down to read the physical book, I like to listen to the audiobook at the same time because I feel like it really develops the story a lot better and really kind of gets me into the story a lot easier. I'm like 811 pages into that book, so I'm like over 3/4 of the way done with it. I think I should be able to finish it maybe on Monday, but I do want to get through another huge chunk of it this weekend. Like I want to get through at least like another 200 pages, I think. What I am going to do right now though is I am going to sit and do some configuring because I kind of want to start going back through some Stephen King. I have quite a few Stephen King novels on my shelf now, and my mother has a lot of Stephen King on her shelf, but because she's so far away, I probably won't use those books, and I'll just go to the library and get a bunch of his books. For some reason, I've been having this urge to where I want to kind of do something that Natasha over at what she has done is she does this thing called Stephen King Sunday where I don't think it's every weekend, but on a Sunday where she is able to, she posts a video going in chronological order of each of the books Stephen King has written and basically going from his very first book all the way up to his most current and reviewing, you know, kind of the style of him as he's developed. I think what I am going to do is I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I would like to be able to, you know, credit Natasha for that because that is her series, but I want to do it myself because it seems like a really fun thing to do. I don't know when I'm going to even start that because I have my reread series, I have my random TBRs, I still have all these arcs to read. I would like to at least have a plan set so that when I get to do these, I would like to have a good set plan for it. So this is where I'm at with the first draft of my Mara book. Currently, I'm almost 4,000 words ahead of where I was at this point in the first draft. So I'm starting to think that this will probably end up being about 50,000 words or more because I still have like 4 chapters left to write. And I know they're going to need some major revisions, so I might not get quite to 50,000, but I will definitely be getting close. And just to give you guys a gauge with that, this is how many words the first draft was. It's not really 57 pages, as you can see, it's loading itself, but that was what I ended up with at the very end of the first draft of this book, and already I'm like 113 pages into the story, so it's definitely going to be longer. So this is where I'm saying that this is how I'm getting like 3,000 extra words, because as you saw between the second and first draft, there's really maybe only about 1,000 word difference, but in terms of how many words I started off with in the first draft and where I ended up as far as words, you know, that's kind of adding into how much I've actually, you know, added to the story. Like I've either taken out some stuff or I've added a lot. Like I added a lot of words to the last 3 chapters I worked on. So this is where like I say that I've added like 3,000, almost 4,000 words, because this is kind of how I'm keeping track of how each chapter has done. But in reality, the actual drafts are more like 1,000 word difference at this point. So now it is about 1:15, so I've spent the last like 3.5 hours or so working on a bunch of different stuff. As you guys saw, I worked on my book for probably about, I would say, maybe a little over an hour, and I created my list of Stephen King books that I want to read in my specific order. I decided to go kind of off of what Natasha from My Reading is Odd was doing. She is reading them in publication order, but I am changing that up a little bit where I'm going to be reading them in publication order, but books that either have something to do with each other or are sequels or are part of a series, I'm going to read back to back to back. So for instance, and this is very messy, so please excuse that, but at the very top here, I have Carrie, which is his first book he ever published, And then throughout it, I'm going to be kind of reading books within, the publication order. But then starting here, for instance, with The Shining, the sequel, Dr. Sleep, came out in 2013. So immediately after I read The Shining, I'm going to read Dr. Sleep, just so that really, for all intents and purposes, it keeps me from feeling like I missed something, or that if I read Dr. Sleep way later on, I might forget some things that were in The Shining. And I feel like with books that have something to do with each other, or books that are part of a series, I would want to read them back to back so that I know that I don't forget anything from those stories. But anyway, so since it is about noon, is afternoon at this point, I think I'm gonna go make some lunch. From here, I am gonna start with getting through Wilder Girls. The Kindle version says I have maybe a little more than almost 3 hours left of the book, so I really could finish it this afternoon if I just sat and started and didn't stop. Then my goal from there is then to get through another 100 or so pages of A Dance with Dragons. And I don't think I'll start my next arc tonight. I might start it tomorrow. Look at this beauty. I just basically made some ramen, and I didn't use the flavor powder, and threw in some zucchini, squash, green peppers, and tomatoes. And I think I'm gonna also have some of this cucumber just sitting on the side. I didn't want to throw it in the ramen because I didn't feel like it was gonna work, but I wanted to have another nice little veggie because we also have some veggies that have been in the fridge for a little bit, and I kind of wanted to work through them. So some nice cucumbers as a side. I'm very, very happy with my choices today. Am I an Instagram chef yet? It barely fits into this bowl, and this is about the biggest bowl that I have. Oh boy. But it looks nice at least.
Of September, and I've only finished one book. This month has just been very off for me. I'm in the middle of another book. I'm currently reading The Darkest Part of the Forest, and I think I have half an hour left on the audiobook, so I will definitely finish this one today. So that's 2 books done, but we're already halfway through the month.
Okay, so it's about 2 o'clock now, and I finally finished my lunch. That took me so long to eat because that was so much food. I do not think I've eaten that much in a long time. And mostly it was the vegetables. It was not really as much ramen as I thought it was. But I think I'm gonna officially now go and sit and read some of Wilder Girls. Robert wants me to wake him up at 3:30, between 3 and 3:30 today. So I'm gonna try to do that, but I'm gonna get at least a little bit of reading in before he wakes up, and then we're gonna figure out what exactly we're gonna do, because on Saturday and Sundays, we don't really do a lot, but sometimes we like to go do something. Sundays we usually will do laundry or get groceries or do both. Saturdays though we don't really do a lot, but I just want to see if he wants to do anything specific. Hey guys, so it is about just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and Robert and I are going to he's making funny faces at me. We're about to go and get groceries today. We usually I'll do them on Sunday, but today we kind of wanted to get a jump start because he and I are actually going to be starting to change up our diet a little bit. We eat a lot of red meat, and it's not really good for us, and so we're going to try to start maybe doing more of a vegetarian-based diet where we just use a little bit less of red meat and stuff like that, and incorporate more veggies. Just to kind of reset our systems, because we both really eat poorly, and we also eat a lot of fast food, and so we're also going to try to cut down on that. Besides all of that, I did get a little bit more reading done today. So far, I have read about 72 more pages of Wilder Girls. I am a little over halfway done with it, with the arc of it at this point, and I'm really enjoying it because there is some really dark stuff happening, and it kind of makes you think that there's some kind of big, government kind of conspiracy thing with it, but I don't think that it's so much a government conspiracy as they're trying to find out what exactly is happening, but nobody knows anything. That's kind of what it seems like. It's truly something that has happened on this island. It's isolated, and they're really trying to figure out what's going on with it, but there does seem to be some kind of sinister aspect to it. So I'm really excited to see how this ends up playing out, because I'm expecting the worst, but I hope for the best kind of thing. Hey guys, so it is, I want to say just after 10 o'clock at night, maybe close to about 10:15, and the evening has been a little more, not really chaotic than I thought it was going to be, but so like I said earlier, Robert and I went and got groceries, and then we decided that while we were getting groceries, we were going to go out to eat. My mom had sent a care package for me this past week or so, and had given me a gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings, so we decided to go and eat there and have a drink. I got a mojito for the first time, and I really enjoyed that. And I sat and talked to my mom for an hour on FaceTime, which was really nice. And I was gonna sit and read some more, but I'm kind of tired. I kind of just want to lay in bed and watch YouTube videos. I know my goal for tonight was to finish Wilder Girls, but I am a little more than halfway done with it, so I think that tomorrow what I'll do first is just finish off Wilder Girls. Like when I get up, I just get up and read until it's done. What? What? Huh. What? Okay, so I just finished Wilder Girls. It is now just afternoon. Holy crap. So this was a really good story. I really liked a lot of it because it still really had, like I said before, a lot of like the Maze Runner feels, with the idea of it being very ominous, you know, very kind of questioning, like we didn't really know what was going on within the whole story, kind of similar to how the Maze Runner was with the aspect of the maze and how everybody got there. One thing I will say though that I was a little confused on is I feel like it wasn't really ever fully fleshed out exactly how the sickness came about. Like there's a lot of points that talk about what exactly the sickness is, the fact that like how it's gotten to the point it has, but there's not really a clear idea, I think, as to how it eventually started, and I wonder if that is something that is explored more in the final copy, as all I have is the arc of Wilder Girls. So it is entirely possible that that is something that was added into the final edition of the story. So I think I may try to go get it soon, see if that is something that is brought up, because I'm just really curious, because like I said, I feel like they touch on a lot of points of how, you know, what the sickness is and exactly how it's been affecting the bodies of the girls on this island, and kind of some of the things that have happened, like why they're so isolated and stuff like that. There is a bit of a plot point where you find out how the government is involved with all of this, like how involved they are with the, you know, goings on of the sickness. I just feel there were still some things that were lacking within the ARC version, at least, that made it seem like there wasn't really a fully fleshed out kind of idea about the sickness and how it started and what exactly is going on. Like there's some ideas there, but it's not fully fleshed out, at least in the ARC stage. So I think I will be getting a finished copy of Wilder Girls, because I, for one, really enjoyed it and I actually would like to have it as a part of my collection. And I am genuinely interested to see how the story really plays out, like if it was changed at all in the final edition that was published. Overall, I think I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 stars because, like I said, I still really enjoyed it. It is very, very dark. I'm gonna place some major trigger warnings for suicide though, because there are a couple instances in this novel where characters kill themselves, but also there is like actual like murder, and it's very, very dark. There's a lot of blood, a lot of gore, but it's not like torture porn or gore porn. Like, this is a kind of book that I feel like would translate so well into either a one-off series for TV or Netflix, or even a one-off movie. The ending of this makes it seem like there's going to possibly be a second book, but I almost don't want there to be, because I feel like if it's going to be a second book, it's just going to be, you know, it's going to be kind of lackluster in my mind. For some reason, the way that the story ends, I feel like having a second book wouldn't be as effective, because the content of the second book is kind of questionable. Like, there doesn't seem like there could be a lot to a second book, in my opinion. Now, if Rory Power decides there's going to be a second book, I really do hope that there is another storyline she has in mind that plays into the sickness and, you know, how they try to find a cure. Like, that's kind of what I would think would be a second book, but I feel like there's not a lot to say with that unless some major plot twist happens about the sickness and how it started and all this stuff. I think maybe on Monday I'm gonna go and get a copy of Wilder Girls from Barnes & Noble, since there is one on the other side of town from where I work. And I'm also going to pick up, I think, Amanda Lovelace's newest poetry collection, which is To Have Coffee with Ghosts or something like that. I was going to go to Target, but I don't think I want to really right now. I need to probably soon get some new pants because I'm starting to grow out of the ones I have, and some of them I've just recently got. I think I just need to start buying bigger pant sizes. I kind of want to spend the rest of the day editing videos because I have a few videos that I filmed last week that I still haven't edited or uploaded, so I would like to try to actually get those edited and maybe upload them sometime this week. And then obviously I want to edit this video too. I also want to listen to my audiobook of A Dance with Dragons because I need to get that audiobook finished because it's going to need to be returned soon. I'm kind of up in the air with what exactly I want to do. I think it's going to really depend on exactly what I feel like doing once I finish my lunch. I think even if it's not raining, maybe I decide I don't want to do anything. So it's really just going to depend. One of the things I've been doing recently, kind of going off on this tangent, is that I've been doing a lot of things more in the moment, and I think that's always been one of my biggest problems, and one of the reasons I have felt very stifled with my mental health and I felt very stressed out a lot of the time is because I feel like I plan so much so often that I don't leave a lot of room for flexibility and kind of doing things more in the moment. So what I've been trying to do recently is trying to do things more in the moment, what do I want to do kind of thing. I kind of had wanted to read a lot last night and I didn't because I just wasn't feeling it. I was, really tired. I just wanted to lay in bed and watch YouTube videos and fall asleep. So that was what I did and I felt fine. I felt great. And then this morning I got up and I decided that I wanted to finish Wilder Girls, and I have these ideas of what I would like to do, but the thing is I feel like I plan so much ahead of my day that I don't leave myself any opportunity to change that. And it's almost like I kind of self-sabotage myself in that way where I just plan everything out. I don't leave any room for changes, and I don't even allow myself sometimes for changes to happen. And with that, usually it's a very big anxiety point for me where things change that I had planned and I didn't have like anything else set up kind of thing. Like I've always hated it when I've planned something out and something gets in the way of that. So one of the ways I've been trying to kind of rework my brain with helping myself is really just doing things more in the moment and trying to just decide in my moments what I'm going to do. And I've been finding that's actually been a lot more helpful and a lot more freeing. And I'm also, I think at some point going to start doing a mindfulness journal, because I got one from my mom in my care package because she's been understanding that I've been having a lot of anxiety issues and has been providing me with a lot of options for me to for things to help me with maybe coping with what's been going on. And one of those was she sent me a mindfulness journal. And I want to get started with that because I feel like it's going to be really helpful to kind of do something like that every day, maybe before, when I get up, before I go to work or something like that. So I think that's going to be something I'm going to try to do, and I think I'm going to start trying to actually go to bed a little earlier, and because I feel like a lot of times I go to bed a little too late and then I don't wake up till 6:30, and then I'm rushing around in the morning trying to get myself ready and get my lunch together so that I can head off to work around 7 and be there between 7:45 and 8 o'clock. And it's very stressful a lot of times, because especially when Robert's awake, he wants to sit and hang out with me for a little bit in the morning. So maybe if I start going to bed a little earlier, I can get up a little earlier and actually do some stuff that gets my day going. And there's a lot of stuff that I would really like to do to change kind of the way that my brain is working, because I feel like I'm self-sabotaging a lot, and I really don't like that. I feel like it's been doing me more harm than good, and with everything that's gone on over the last couple of months, I feel like I really need to make a change with how my life is, because I feel like with the self-sabotage, it really creates problems in a lot of different spheres of my life, and I don't want that. I don't want that to happen, and I really would like to change that.
Thought that it was all over. What Molly and I didn't know was that the real nightmare was.
Hey guys, so it is now I think about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, just after. I've decided that what I'm going to do is I'm actually just gonna go out into town. I'm not gonna go out anywhere like specific, well, kind of. I'm gonna go over to this shopping plaza that is like right down the road from where I live. I go there quite frequently when I just need to get out of the apartment, just want to go do a little bit of shopping. But it's also across the road from Target, and I kind of want to run to Target because I think, if I'm not mistaken, they may have at least Amanda Lovelace's new poetry book. I'm gonna hope, because the last several times I've been there, they've only had the mermaid doesn't lose her voice in this one, and the princess saves herself in this one. So I'm hopeful that they might have the new one, but I don't know. So I'm gonna go check it out, and I kind of want to do some shopping. I just want to go, or at least just go and stretch my legs and just kind of walk around a little bit. But first, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go outside and clean out my car, because it is a travesty, and I've been meaning to clean it for weeks now, and I just never had the motivation to. But I feel like if I do it now, I will definitely have a reward for myself by the end of it. I don't know how much more I'm going to read. I am going to listen to my audiobook though while I'm out and about, because I would like to get some time in for that, and then I may even listen to more of it tonight, but it really depends on how all things go today. Hi guys, so it is about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I just got back from shopping, and it was probably a bad day for me to go shopping, to say the least. I did buy a few things. When I went to Target, which was my last stop before I headed home, I did find To Drink Coffee with a Ghost, which is Amanda Lovelace's newest poetry collection that she has released. So I got that at Target. It was 30% off, which was awesome. I love the fact they constantly, all of their books they have are on some kind of a discount. I really like that. I think it's so cool. The reason I think that was probably a bad day for me to go shopping though is I don't know. I went to TJ Maxx, which is one of the stores that is in this plaza area across the road from Target, and I usually like going in there. I like looking at all the stuff that's on clearance and stuff, because a lot of times it's really good stuff, and I find some really good things, especially for work, to wear, because especially right now I'm going to be moving into a new building in a few weeks, and I am expected to dress a little bit more business-like than I have been, because originally I was in a building where it was so far removed from the rest of the normal campus of buildings that for the company I work for, that we kind of had a little bit more of lax of a dress code. But now we are actually going to be on the main campus in a new building that's been renovated, and because of that, and because we're going to be with a lot more people, and a lot more of our customers and clients are going to be at this building specifically, they want us to probably just start dressing a little more professionally, which I can do. It's no problem. I have a lot of professional clothing. But one of the things that I think I've been struggling with a lot lately is my self-image, because Many of you may know I have struggled with my weight for many years. I've always been very, very thin. I've always been very skinny with not a lot of muscle tone to my body. No matter how hard I tried and no matter how much I would work out and stuff, I would never really seem to gain any muscle. The times I did were when I was heavily involved with dance in my junior and senior year of high school, and that didn't really show much on my body. Like, there was a lot of muscle I built in my legs, but it didn't really seem to show a lot. Like, I don't feel like I really started gaining weight until probably the last couple of years. That's always been a struggle for me. Up until about, I would say probably like 3 years ago, I was still wearing, really small clothing. I really only started being able to actually wear like a size 3 shortly after I had gotten through like my sophomore year of college. That was really frustrating for me a lot because many times going into stores I wouldn't be able to find those sizes because a lot of other girls are that size, which is, fine, whatever. Then when I would try to find things that were my size, some stores wouldn't fit right. It very much varies on this type of store I go to and the brands that you pick for clothing. And many people will experience this, skinny, larger size, doesn't matter. This type of store you go to and the kind of brand of clothing you find is going to fit differently than another store and another brand will. And that was something I experienced today while I was at TJ Maxx, because I found a pair of Michael Kors pants that were really, really nice, beautiful black color, kind of skinnier, almost like a jegging material, if you will, but very like professional looking, and they were a size 4, and that's typically the size I wear. But many of my size 4 pants now are kind of getting tight because my butt has actually gotten to be a lot bigger recently. I don't know exactly how. Probably because of my very poor diet, and so everything's just going straight to my butt. So that and my thighs too. Those are the ones that are gaining the most weight at the moment. So I thought, I'll try the size 4. I don't know if they'll fit. And then I grabbed a couple pair of size 6 pants to try on, just in case, they didn't seem to fit. And lo and behold, I actually was able to fit in all 3 of them. And they looked really good. Like, I'm not kidding. I had 3 pairs of pants I tried on. I got 4 dresses. One of the dresses I wore was a little too low cut for my liking, so I, nixed it. And one was a color that didn't suit me, but the other 2 dresses fit very well, and they actually looked really nice. And all 3 of the pants looked really nice on me too. But I didn't buy them. And this is where I kind of think that I shouldn't have really gone clothes shopping at all today, because for some reason, I don't think I have a negative self-image of myself. I do like the way that my body has been forming recently, because I have struggled with my weight for so long, and I have, struggled with gaining weight. I don't know. I think with everything that's been happening with my brain recently, it's making me think that, I don't deserve these things. I don't deserve to get these new clothes because I don't necessarily need them, or I don't have any use for them. And I actually would have use for them, but my brain keeps thinking that they're not important and that I shouldn't even get them because they make me feel good. Like, it's almost like my brain wants to sabotage myself. My brain was making me feel very uncomfortable despite how really good I looked in everything that I put on. Just sometimes my brain and my body don't connect when I go clothes shopping, and sometimes it's better if I'm with somebody, because I can usually talk myself into something if they tell me that it looks good and I can hear it from an outside perspective. But today was just not a really good day to do that, I think. Anyway, as far as what's going to be going on for the rest of the day, I have no idea. I think I'm just going to sit and relax, because my brain now, my brain feels mushy again, which it has felt really all week, where my emotions get so out of whack that my brain tries to keep up and it just can't. So I think I'm just gonna take it easy for the rest of the night. Just kind of sit and relax. I'll probably sit and listen to my audiobook for a while and go get through A Dance with Dragons for a good while. I feel like that's really what I want to do right now. because I would really like to get through a lot of that book, considering that I think it's gotten to a point where I really am enjoying the story. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry I've been talking a lot about my self-sabotaging brain, but I feel like it's pretty relevant, because considering that I feel like a lot of people on BookTube especially are really having a hard time with their mental health. Like, everyone is struggling right now, and maybe it's because of the school year, maybe it's because of the fact that it seems like everybody is going through some major changes. I really don't know. I just feel like literally everybody, big YouTuber to small YouTuber, is having some kind of mental health issue, and I feel bad for all of us, because I know how hard it can be just for me to deal with. I can't even imagine how a lot of the other people on BookTube feel, because I know my brain is messed up enough as it is. But I am hoping that into this next week, I'm actually going to be making a doctor's appointment and try to see if it is something that I am currently taking medication-wise that is actually causing some of the anxiety. I just feel like at this point it's gotten so out of hand. I need to just talk to somebody about it. I need to talk to a doctor. I need to talk to a therapist, something like that. And I can't take it. I'm getting to a point where it's really, really damaging for me, and I need to figure out what the hell's wrong with me. Anyway, going into this next week, my goal is to probably get through some more arcs. I don't know how much I'm gonna get through. I do hope to get through at least a couple more arcs, probably finish up A Dance with Dragons either tomorrow or Tuesday. If you guys did enjoy this little weekend vlog and would like to see more, please give this a thumbs up. I do hope that in the future I will not have as many mental health problems, but we shall see. And if you guys haven't already and you'd like to be, hit the button down below, subscribe to become an owlet in our flock, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.